Cool, right, so welcome to episode 3 of, did we decide that we're going to call it Be You, Be Better?
No, we didn't decide that at all.
Okay, well, welcome to episode 3 of Be You, Be Better, or a name that we've still not decided on.
Basically, it's called whatever's behind us on the screen, and that's typically decided upon as Johnny's editing, so let's see.
Okay, right, so today CK has said to me that he's seen something in the metro, in the paper. I don't know anything about this just yet, so let's head it over to CK and see what he's going to pull up for us.
If you watched episode 2, you will have noted that I said I don't work by scripting things in my presentation, you know, whether I'm doing online, digital, TV, events. I don't plan stuff, I just do it because I just think that's me getting the most authentic responses. And I picked up the metro this morning when I was having a coffee in a shop, and I was reading something that the featured human on their 60-second interview, anyone that gets the metro every morning will be familiar with their 60-second principle. They have a interview feature where they interview a well-known name for 60 seconds.
Right.
And what she was talking about, I just thought, Johnny's going to love this. So Johnny has no idea who was in this interview or indeed what she's talking about, so I want to see what Johnny's got to say, and I guarantee he's going to get really animated, because this is stuff Johnny imparts upon his clients all the time. Now, for anyone that's come from my circle online, tell them what you do, Johnny.
Right, well, you're on my channel, so firstly you should know what I do. But if you don't know what I do, I'm a coach.
They might come through me.
They might come from you, yeah, okay. So I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm a sales trainer. What I do is basically get people fired up, make sure they've got the right processes in their life, in their business, make sure that they actually do what they should do. I'm your person that's there to rub your back, to cheerlead, to kick you at the arse, to get you going and firing from all cylinders.
And for those that don't know me, I'm CK, I'm a presenter and a portrait photography specialist. The vast majority of people I work with are emerging musicians, so you're going to love this. This is going to make you very happy.
Let's do it.
Today's featured 60-second interviews with KT Tunstall.
Okay.
One of my favourite heads. I love her head, it's just really cute.
You love her head?
Look how cute her head is. She's just got this really nice round head.
That's more like an oval shape, I'd say.
Maybe. I don't know. She's got dimples as well, and dimples are good.
Katie, I think you've got an admirer.
A little bit, yeah, kind of.
You used to be like this though with Kerry Hilson, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Then she just disappeared into the wilderness. Funnily enough, she disappeared into the wilderness after I interviewed her. Her stock just plummeted.
So if you're watching this and CK reaches out to you for an interview, be very, very cautious.
We weren't allowed to say interviews, were we, actually, based on the last video?
For a chat, for Snapchat.
If CK ever chats to you, then your career is going to nosedive, basically.
Woo!
Kerry Hilson was big time. She was working with Timberland and all that. I interviewed her, then no one heard from her again.
Yeah, go on.
Anyway. So, KT Tunstall, for those of you that are not familiar with her, kind of came onto this... she broke into the mainstream UK music press in 2014 after a feature on Jools Holland, later with Jools Holland, and she's subsequently released 5 albums. She's just released her 6th album, and she's won 2 Brits, Ivor Novello, so she's, you know, for what, I don't really know what this means, but she's perceived as an incredibly credible singer-songwriter.
Cool.
And she sold everything and moved to LA a couple of years ago. She's been interviewed in the Metro because she's just released her 6th album, Kin. So she's 41 now, and she's been looking at her career retrospectively and kind of been able to, I don't know, dissect what happened when she exploded in 2004.
Okay.
After years of grind, incidentally. She didn't come up anywhere. She didn't come out of nowhere.
Yep.
Years of grind, a feature on Jools Holland, and she just blew up. And she's actually now looking back and reflecting, and she's actually saying how in the early stages, you know what you talk about self-talk? When people talk themselves out of opportunity. She's basically talking about how she used to self-sabotage.
Okay.
Now she got in her own way.
Okay.
And I wanted to share with you what she's talking about, and you can maybe share with us why people do this.
Let's go. Let's roll.
And solutions they can
Let's do it.
to stop doing it.
Shoot.
So one of the questions, they discussed what problems she had in the past, and she says, I didn't want to be the centre of attention. When things started going off, and when she really blowed up onto the scene, I self-sabotaged. I started playing arenas and was really scared. I wasn't ready for such a big stage.
Okay.
How did you self-sabotage? By not going for it and not allowing life to happen to me and trying to keep a lid on what was going on. It was quite overwhelming, but I was pretending I was fine when really I found it all a bit too much. Now I'm older and wiser, I feel like, let's fucking have it. So there's other bits, there's some really powerful stuff. I'm going to come on to the other two questions in a minute, but for now, self-sabotage and when people talk themselves out of their own opportunities. So why do people do that?
Well, I think firstly what we've got to look at right there is this the true story? Do you know, Nobody wants to hear good stories, do they? No one wants to hear that there's someone pops onto the scene with this complete class, this arrogance, this confidence, this ability that they're amazing. Do you know? So what we've got to first understand right there is it true?
Do you know what? I get what you're saying, and I'm like you because I'm privy to the media, and I know that it's all about creating a story, right?
Totally is.
But whether or not that is true, what she's saying does apply to so many people about talking and self-sabotage. So let's not get too into the nitty-gritty whether this is true.
Okay.
Let's just talk about the principles of self-sabotage.
Well, I think
usually used
I think self-sabotage is it's an interesting word, and I think that if we peel away the layers and let's have a look at what self-sabotage really means, it just means you're lazy. That's basically what it's saying, is that I'm too lazy to do the stuff that I know I should do, and I just don't know which way I need to go. So it could be a lot of reasons why you're being lazy. It could be the fact that you've not got a clear plan. You've not got a clear agenda in terms of what it is you're going to push for, what is it you're going to do. So you don't know what you should be doing, so you just become lazy. So it's ultimately about having an agenda, and the reason why I'm saying so much, especially with someone like this who's in the industry, like, you know, they've got a good management team behind them. Well, I assume they've got a good management team behind them. There's no way that she doesn't know what she should be doing, because there's got someone there telling her what exactly she should be doing. She's been prepped for media, she's been prepped for PR, she's been prepped exactly what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and how to deliver it. So I think that what you've got to always remember, we used to laugh about this years ago back in the field when we used to knock doors, that, do you know, you can't believe what you see or hear, and the saying goes that you only believe half of what you see and absolutely zero of what you hear. Now, that doesn't answer necessarily the question. The question is,
I don't know if it even goes near to answering the question.
Well, you decide. But the real issue here is people don't know what they want to do. The only reason people procrastinate and get lazy is because they're not fully clear in terms of what it is that they should be doing. So they wait until it becomes urgent, it's got a deadline attached to it before they take the action to move forward.
But did you listen when I read out her answers?
I kind of drifted off a little.
I think you drifted off quite a bit.
You went around the houses a little bit.
I didn't really go around any houses. I just read what was presented to me,
which is usually flannel. But okay, let's.
You're not a fan of the Metro.
No, well, tell me again. What was the question?
Right.
Don't read it. Just tell me the question.
Well, all right. For example, what she's saying here is I didn't let life happen as it was trying to happen. I tried to keep a lid on it. So we've discussed this before about when people... All right, listen, the best way for me to explain this, you've discussed about people, they're not scared of failure, people are scared of success.
Okay,
that's what I think she's saying here. Okay. I was scared of success. I felt like an imposter.
Okay.
So share to people what you... Because when you say to people for the very first time, people aren't scared of failure, people are scared of success. When you've heard that for the first time, it's difficult to compute. It's fair to say.
Yeah,
when you first said it to me that you're scared of success, I didn't know what you meant, and then you explain it to make perfect sense. So explain what it means when someone's scared of success.
Well, exactly what it sounds like.
Well, why would someone why?
Because you're leaving something. In order for you to become successful, you have to leave something behind. So it could be a part of you, it could be your friends, it could be your lifestyle, it could be your home, it could be your family and children, it could be the relationships that you've spent 20, 30, 40 years building. So there's a natural fear that for you to go somewhere you've never been before, which is the success that you want, then ultimately you feel that you're going to lose something on the way. You're going to lose that connection base. You're going to lose that. So it's quite natural that you will feel fear towards that. You're venturing somewhere that you've not been before, although it's what you've said to yourself all your life that you want. It's like, what am I going to sacrifice to get there?
But feeling fear is one thing, and then the next step, which is even more detrimental, is when you actually start resisting it, right? When you start resisting the progress.
Yeah.
And that's what she's talking about, putting a lid on it. She almost like she didn't feel she'd earned it, she warranted it, she deserved it, and then you start bringing yourself back down.
Of course you do.
Does that happen?
No, absolutely, all the time. And it could be for a number of different reasons. But ultimately, what we've also got to remember is that fear is not real. You know, it's not a fact, it's a statement. You fear something, it's a statement, it's not a factual thing. And I always look at fear as an acronym. It's false emotions appearing real. Now, I say emotions, some people call this evidence, but I think fear is an emotion, so I like to use the term emotion. And that's just look at the fear. You know, it's not real. There's only two fears we're naturally born with, which is fear of falling and fear of loud sounds or loud noises. And we've actually crushed these two fears by the time we reach the age of 1. So everything else on top of that is just completely made up. It's stuff that's been imposed upon us by family and friends and environments and TV and radio and newspaper and articles. Or every other fear that we've got is just completely made up. The fact that she's scared of exposing herself too much could be a lot of different things. It could be that she's leaving somewhere. It could be that she's going to get criticism. She's seen what happens to people in the limelight. They pick up a lot of hate.
Imposter syndrome.
They get this imposter syndrome saying that I shouldn't be here. This shouldn't be me. I'm from a little council estate. Whatever it may be. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm from a successful family, so I don't feel like I'm
This show is in no way suggesting Katie Tunstall is from a council estate.
No,
so what?
It don't make a difference. I'm from a council estate.
We're not speculating here.
Do you know? And I loved it. I would not change it for the world. I had a fantastic childhood in a council estate.
You did?
Would I choose to live there now? No. Do you know? But I don't discredit anyone who does. I've been there. Do you know? I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone. We're not better than anyone.
I'm still quite aghast at saying she's lazy. But let's move on. let's move on to the second bit. This is bit you'll really enjoy this.
Sure.
So the question, the journalist says, where are we? You believe in the power of intention. What is that? Katie Tunstall says, I'm going to sound a bit like a hippie, but I believe if you have a very accurate idea of what you want, you stand a better chance of achieving it.
Absolutely.
If you're not sure what you want and it lands on your lap by accident, that's something very rare that happened, because that isn't really how the world works. The more specific you can be with what you'd like to happen, the more you focus on it and allow yourself to be distracted by nothing else, the better chance you have of achieving it.
Absolutely. I mean,
Now, you could have written that, right?
Yeah,
in terms
totally.
of what you say to people all the time.
Do you know, it totally comes down to the goals. Do you know, you've got to have an absolute clear idea in terms of what it is you want to achieve. Otherwise, the likelihood of you achieving it is reduced to almost zero. And yeah, she hits the nail bang on the head. You know, you might be quite fortunate that something drops on your lap. And that does happen occasionally. We used to call them angels. You know, you get things that drop in your lap and it works out for you. That doesn't happen in a large, hardly ever. Hardly ever does that happen. So you've got to have an absolute crystal clear idea in terms of what it is you want to achieve. Because if you don't, it's just not going to work. Do you know, if you were leaving Sheffield, we're here, we're based in Sheffield. So if we were leaving Sheffield and we got in the car to go somewhere we didn't even know where we were going, we never arrive there because we don't know where we're supposed to be going. But we go and we've got an agenda. We're going to go to London. So we know we're going to go to London. Now, in most cases, we're going to hit some problems on that journey. We're going to hit traffic, there might be speed bumps, we might get a blowout on the tyre, car might stop working, someone might run into us. Most likely for us, it's going to be traffic. Now, we don't turn around the first time we hit a problem and go back, but people do that with life. You know, they set a goal, this is what I want to achieve, they get a small speed bump or they get a little hiccup and they turn around and quit. Now, what she's saying there is absolutely spot on. You need to know where it is. If you want to leave where you are, you've got to know where you want to go to, otherwise you're never going to arrive there.
If you sit down and write on a piece of paper exactly what you want, you are far more likely of getting it.
Absolutely. Listen, there were tests done, and I'm forgetting the exact figures now, but there were tests done sometime in the 50s, Harvard students, and they did a test with 100 students. And what they did is and again, I forget the exact numbers, but it was something along the lines of, I think it was something like 70 of them writ no goals. They had no agenda for whatever it were. They've got a bit of an idea in their mind, but they writ no goals. They got another 10 or 15 or so of them that then actually had a bit of an idea, but they didn't go any further with that idea. They knew kind of what they'd like to do after. And then they took the last 5 or 10, I forget the exact numbers, and they writ detailed goals with timelines and deadlines and a plan what they're going to do. 10 years later, they found the same 100 people, and what they found is that the 70 or 80 or however many it were what didn't do anything at all were just pottering their way through life. The 10 or 15 that had a bit of an idea were doing okay, but the 5 or 10 that had crystal clear goals were on average earning a combination of the other 80 people combined. You know, financially, successfully, wealth, you know, their lifestyle, they were just doing a lot better. Goals, guys, are so important. You need to actually have a plan. You need to have a plan.
So the thing is, John doesn't coach me per se, but Johnny and I are really close friends for many, many years. So I've got the luxury. I say this all the time. I've got the luxury of seeing what he imparts on people, and seeing what excites him, what he's always having to work on with people. And one of the things that I would say sits in the top 3 of what you're always saying is like, do you know how many times I get people coming up to me, CK, and saying, my life hasn't gone to plan? I ask them, what's your plan? They said, I ain't got a plan. So it's like...
How do you know it's not going to it? Yeah. Life's unfair, life's hard, life's not going according to plan. Show me your plan. Well, I don't have one. Well, how do you know it's not working? How do you know life's not working to your plan if you haven't even got a plan? Come on, dude. Get a plan. We need a plan. We need a plan.
Do you reckon there's any way of like packaging plans
Absolutely.
that you can sell?
Do you know, there is, and I think the easiest thing for you to do is to actually sit down and write out what you want to achieve in life. Call it a bucket list. Do you know, write a bucket list. What do you want to do? Do you want to skydive? Do you want to learn how to ride a bike? Do you want to ride a camel or a horse? Do you want to go and drive a Ferrari? Do you want to buy a new build house? Do you want to buy several houses? Unless you write these plans down, the likelihood is you'll never achieve them.
I'd like to pinch Katie Tunstall's cheeks.
I'm sure you could if you were.
Looks like she's got pinchable cheeks.
Depends on which cheeks you're pinching. I mean, one will get you a slap.
I don't know if she'd be fond of either version. But I know, yeah.
But you never know. If you don't try, you don't know. But this is the thing, you know.
Pinch
like anything,
Katie.
is this your bucket list?
Tunstall's
Cheeks.
Specify
cheeks though.
Facial
cheeks.
cheeks.
Facial cheeks. This stuff works a lot better if you can be specific. Now give it a deadline. When do you want to have that achieved by?
When do I want to pinch her cheeks?
Well,
she's in LA at a minute.
Okay, so...
But like one of this concept I'm developing now has me kind of roughly in that vicinity, so maybe it's almost meant to be that I pinch her cheeks.
There you go then. There you go. Then tap up your power base to find out where she's going to be. See if your power base can introduce you to her, and then boom, there you go.
I mean, I don't know if you can see this from where you are, but I had some notes for the show there, and just some stats on her sales, and I've written pinch Katie Tunstall's facial cheeks.
Yeah. There you go. 60 seconds, Katie what's it say? Katie what? Katie's Tunstall. 60 seconds with Katie Tunstall.
This was, yeah, so, I mean, to be fair, Johnny and I, when we started, thought we'll just do this, like, with no agenda. We thought we'll release them as and when. So I don't know if this is going to go up today. It might do. If so, then you can go and grab a copy of this. But at least, you know, you can. This is a nice way of showing you when this was recorded. So 60 seconds with Katie Tunstall, album number 6, Kin, out now. If we've got any fans of the Scottish songstress. It's a great piece. I really
and do you know what?
It.
Yeah. And listen, do you know what?
Johnny's cynical.
Take value out of whatever it is. I'm not cynical. I'm a realist. Do you know, the thing is...
PR bull, is that what you're saying?
I'm saying...
PR bull.
Yeah, always.
Is this all PR bull?
Always.
I mean, I don't want to give you the impression that I disagree with what he's saying because I know how much PR bull circulates out there, but I just thought it was quite interesting. I was keen to extract some value and you were like, bullshit.
Listen, I'm not for 1 minute suggesting that Katie Tunstall will ever lazy. Do you know, she's achieved an amazing thing with what she's done with her music. You know, her career's obviously fantastic. The lifestyle I'm sure is amazing as well. What I'm saying is that in these situations, sometimes it can be self-sabotage. It's just laziness. Now, I'm not saying that she is lazy at all, but I'm saying that maybe this is a fantastic story to get people reading about it. People love
an underdog story.
But yeah, they love people what's like, do you know what? I were nervous, I was shy, couldn't work it out, didn't know what to do. But look at the papers. Only the other week, Katie Price. So she's not done anything. She's not been in the press for a long time. What does she do? Oh, we're going to drive my car through a wall. Wanted to do myself in. No, you weren't. You just wanted some publicity.
I mean, to be fair, she's just an absolute icon.
She's
just an absolute machine when it comes to working the system.
She's a savvy business person.
When it comes to working the machine, she's untouchable.
A savvy business person, knows the machine, knows how to play the game, creates the rules for the game, got a great marketing management team behind her. Absolutely. And if you want to take advice from someone, follow what she's doing because she's a beast at it. And this is the thing, is that everything, and coming back to what I just said a minute ago, is don't believe... only believe half of what you see. Believe zero of what you hear.
I'm just wondering now, and to be fair, this is going off on a massive tangent, so it's not going to add any value to what we're discussing now, but you just sparked a thought about Katie Price. I concede that she's an orchestrator of the press and the media. She's just an absolute machine. She's just playing them. And it got me thinking, you know when Harvey did swore on loose women?
I don't know.
Did you not see that?
No.
There's a video on YouTube. If you've not seen it, Katie Price took her son with Peter Andre Harvey, onto Loose Women, and I think they might have been talking.
Harvey's not Peter Andre's. It's Dwight York's, isn't it?
Correct. I mean, the fact that we both know this is just. I don't know if we've not done ourselves any favours. But my point is, so she took Harvey onto Loose Women, and they were talking about online trolling and bullying, and she said to Harvey, "So Harvey, how do you combat bullies?" And he said, "I tell them to fuck off." On lunchtime TV.
Good man.
So my question is, did she say, Harvey, I'm going to ask you a question later on? I'm not saying she did, but
quite possibly.
God, like, because the press is split there after.
Yeah, so quite possibly.
Anyway, unimportant.
Could be the case. Listen, do you know? And this is a separate topic altogether. You know, trolls online, bullying, all that kind of stuff. If you don't like it, get off the platform. You know, come off of that forum. Come away from it. No one's forcing you to be there. We're going off tangent anyway.
We're going massively off the tangent.
So take some value from this. Don't fall into that trap of calling it self-sabotage. Look at what you do. Get some clarity on what it is you want to try to achieve, and just do whatever it takes morally to get there. Do whatever it takes morally to get there. Push, work hard, hustle, grind, whatever you want to call it. But take action. I was saying this morning that people talk about, and I think we mentioned this yesterday when we were talking as well, is that people talk about like knowledge. You need to have lots of knowledge, and I agree. Knowledge is fantastic. I love the stuff. But people say knowledge is power, and I disagree. Knowledge is not power. The application of knowledge is power. You've got to use the knowledge and apply it. And if you don't, you're just going to end up with lots of books on the shelf, and it's going to be shelf development. That's
as opposed to
self-development. Take some action, go out there, push it, make it work. I hope you've enjoyed it. Be you, be better. Episode 3. We don't know if that's the name, but maybe it is. Who knows? But until next time, I'm Jon Covey, multi-award-winning coach, sales mentor, trainer. This is CK Goldiing, uber awesome presenter and photographer.
I mean, I can do my own outro. I'm CK Goldiing, and I can't believe you called Katie Tunstall lazy.
Till next time, guys.